Ladder replay on the Warpstone mine map today. I am taking the Dark Elves of Haganeth, my favourite sort of Dark Elf faction. I just love their colour scheme. I'm up against Way today, a pretty decent player. He's playing the Warriors of Chaos. This was played pre-patch, so hopefully the replay holds up stably, but it was a bit of a different build for me and just some different uses of some magic laws. But we'll go through Way's force here. So a couple of units of Chaos Marauders. Using this little sort of choke point, these little trenches here are actually impassable terrain. So a nice narrow frontage here. As you see, he's being backed up by the Soul of Damnation Hell Cannon, which is a pretty cool pick. I've got some pretty high value infantry as well, so that's gonna be a bit of a pain in my ass. But 3 units of Marauder Horsemen. He's got the Mirror Guard here backing up the Soul of Damnation. They'll probably have to come down to the front line pretty quickly. The Summoners of Rage, but they're bound Chain Lightning. Archaon is leading the force. He's taken the Slayer of Kings, Fireball, Burning Head. Doesn't look like he's taken the Crown of Dominion in this, or the Crown of Domination, sorry, in this map. And it looks like we've got a couple of Feral Manticores and a couple of Warhound summons. Maybe just checking for some sort of Vanguard deployment here, making sure I can't sort of get in the back line. So for my force out on this flank, we have 2 units of Dark Riders with shields, 2 units of Dark Riders with repeater crossbow, just for screening out some armor piercing. In the front line here, I have 2 units of Dread Spears and the Hellebronii. Backing them up in the secondary rank, I have the Blades of the Blood Queen, as well as 2 units of regular Haganeth Executioners. You're not really playing Haganeth unless you take these guys. I have a unit of Witch Elves here, which I'm hopefully going to try and use, I guess, with the Goblin Knights. Getting Rampage, making things Rampage into unfavorable engagements. And for my own hero core, I have taken the Lore of Beasts, but I've gone down a bit of a different pathway to normal. I've taken the Curse of Anra here and Pan's Impenetrable Pelt. So more the buff debuff route than the Manticore Summon and Flock of Doom that everyone tends to sort of gravitate towards. I actually think it's a better lore, and I think it's a more versatile lore than people actually give it credit for. Curse of Anra here is a big debuff. It can be cast on the ground, so to give an area of effect. Likewise, Pan's Impenetrable Pelt, when you overcast it, does give an area of effect. Physical resistance is pretty handy, and obviously speed if you need to pull out of a combat that's not going well. Leading the force, and like I said, this is pre-patch. I'm ahead of the curve here. I've taken the Dreadlord with a shield, and look at that sweet glossy black armor. Wow, if only it was actually a good lord choice. But she's been basically stripped back to be very, very cheap. So she's got the Shield of Grond for just the weapon damage debuff, as well as the 5 melee attack debuff. Not that Haganeth Executioners need any melee buffing, but they have fantastic stats and obviously an anti-infantry bonus. These guys actually also will impart the Guardian Aura on both of these guys, so a bit of physical resistance on our heroes, which is never a bad thing. So we're going to have to obviously slog up the field a little bit here. We're going to have a bit of work to do with this Soul of Damnation raining down on us. It's no doubt going to be going on to the Blades of the Blood Queen, and right there we see right off the bat 5 unit models and a nice chunk of damage. So a pretty decent pick. Obviously, elite infantry is something the Dark Elves actually do well, and yeah, it's definitely going to have some good targets. Although that shot there is a complete whiff, so that's nice for us. See on this flank, my Dark Riders, just like I said, using this impassable terrain here is a bit of a blockade, and having my Dark Riders with the shields just to be able to sort of screen up and protect the Dark Riders with the repeated crossbows. These guys, obviously, they can move on the fire, but they don't have the 360-degree firing arc, so they're going to have to sort of duck and weave a little bit to get on the good targets. I'm going to try and open up with a volley here to try and get one of these guys to actually rampage with a good volley, but good play by Way there, pulling them back, and the Marauder Horseman will come in now and probably get a few volleys off on the Dark Riders with crossbows and make them have to retreat. So Nolosi has charged into the front line here. So has the Sorceress of Beasts. She's going to have to be careful. Doesn't want to get sniped by Archaon. We see over in this side, I'm happy to retreat. The hounds have made themselves known, and I will here sort of just be pulling a little bit of a bait and switch. I know that the hounds probably have attack orders on the Dark Riders with repeater crossbows. So I line up my own attack order with the Dark Riders with shields. On the charge, they will beat Chaos Warhounds very, very quickly. And with these guys routed off or potentially heavily damaged, we can really sort of pick our engagements with these Dark Riders. So we see over here a really big Overcast Pan's Impenetrable Pelt going down, so physical resistance and speed. Unfortunately, Nolosi has picked a fight that she just has no place being in. She's up against a Manticore and the Archaon the Everchosen, who has popped the Slayer of Kings. He is being afflicted by the Curse of Anra here, but that Slayer of Kings is just going to mean any hit that gets through is going to absolutely tank her. And unfortunately, she is terror routed, but she's going to be naturally broken off by this Manticore quite soon. She is probably on her last legs and will probably not be seen again in this fight. The Executioners, though, they're going to absolutely love fighting the Mirror Guard. Mirror Guard are a pretty sturdy unit, but just don't have the really the armor piercing to punch back there. And with the anti-infantry bonus and the armor piercing that they offer, you see here this a fight that started in favor of the Executioners has turned against them very quick. Although the presence of the Summoners of Rage is probably not doing them any favour, as well as Archaon himself. So, as we see here, the Marauder Horsemen, one of them has been shattered, one of them has been routed off down to 25 unit models. The Harganeth Executioners here are going to help the Dread Spears blend through these Chaos Marauders, so they can come in and start to get on other targets. I have sort of held my Cold War Knights back at this stage because part of me's, I'll be honest, I've sort of forgotten them, but I don't really have any reason to overcommit them just yet. I probably should be getting them in on the Summoners of Rage, but I'm kind of waiting for these. I think I was waiting for one of these Manticores to possibly drop down, and now that we've got Archaon a little bit isolated, the Summoners of Rage have been rampaged by the Witch Elves. We're getting a big double charge in here. Lots of value for these guys, armor piercing and anti-large. The Dark Riders here are going to, or they actually unfortunately rout, but they were going to try and make sure that the Mirror Guard didn't come back from routing. We're going to pull our Dark Riders back over here so that we can just try and sort of screen out a little bit. Probably should have. Don't know what's going on here. I should be having the Dread Spears here on the Solid Damnation. Might have been a misclick there by Way. I'm not sure what happened there, but maybe might have misclicked up. He would have got good value out of a Burning Head there. And this Manticore could probably jump down, although it probably doesn't want to jump down here, to be honest. There's a lot of anti-large down here. So, yeah, getting onto the Sorceress was cutting through a few of the crew here, but with a bit of reforming infantry over here are going to be broken off very quickly by the Dark Riders. Archaon is just completely isolated. There is a single Summoner of Rage left, and that is going to be the battle. So, like I said, and obviously this is pre-patch, so obviously this is a little bit bugged with the kills and the damage dealt, because obviously that's been updated and it can't necessarily be applied to older replays. This replay is about 10 days old, I think. So yeah, Footlord there got a little bit isolated. I think having her maybe allowed me to go a little bit wider and have some pretty decent infantry, as well as some sort of threatening cavalry there, some anti-large. But overall, Footlords, well, hopefully this patch does address the issues that they faced, but yeah, they used to absolutely suck. So Nolosi's probably a fairly substandard pick, but the debuffing of the Shield of Grond, as well as her own sort of melee buff boost, was what I sort of mainly had in mind. Again, with the Sorceress, I wanted to go more down a buff debuff route than just the stock standard summon, try and play something a little bit differently. Having two Manticores on the other side would have meant, they could have probably teamed up and killed any summoned Manticores fairly quickly, but obviously Manticore summons are really strong, so it's not a bad obviously spell. I'm not getting rid of it all completely, but just wanted to try something different. Got a good engagement against the Hounds with our own Dark Riders, allowed the repeater crossbows to get some good shots in, and break off sort of get some good value and basically not come under threat. And then our front line here, executioners aren't really going to fear anything in this army apart from maybe the Soul of Damnation, which I think ended the battle with about sort of 70-80 kills, a lot of which were Blades of the Blood Queen and other executioner units. So probably got its value. It's a pretty expensive piece, but this is probably a matchup where it can work because the Dark Elves do have access to some pretty decent infantry, some pretty valuable infantry, and it's probably one of the strongest suits of their roster, to be honest. But good battle. Obviously, Wade's a pretty solid player. Plays a lot on the tournament scene, so cool to get a game in, and maybe we can take Nolosi for another spin post patch and see if she can do any better. But there's the replay. Thanks for checking it out. Until next time, take care.